cobra.
The Sarawak bensot gecko.
Eggs of forest gecko.
This is a sun skink. Skink.
Skink.
What is a reptile? Reptiles are cold-blooded animals, which means they are unable to regulate their own body temperature or keep it constant. They are generally found in warm climates, basking on rocks or enjoying the sun. When the weather turns cold, these animals must either hibernate or seek warm places to burrow or hide to ensure they don't freeze to death. Some reptiles are able to go into a state that slows everything down for them in cold weather, so they are able to survive limited exposure to cold. Reptiles are some of the longest lived species on the planet. For example, tortoise can live more than 150 years and alligators can live nearly 70 years. A reptile's body is covered in scales, or they have a bony external plate called shell. Reptiles cannot chew their food, but they can only tear and swallow it. All reptiles have backbones or spinal columns and have a pelvis that is associated with at least 2 spinal bones. Reptiles also lay eggs to give birth to the young ones, but some reptiles are capable of giving birth. Most reptiles are tetrapods, means 4-legged animals. They have claws on their toes. Reptiles such as snakes and some lizards only are legless.
I will describe a habitat for an example of a reptile, which is the snake. Like other reptiles, snakes are cold-blooded, which means they need a heat source, and that is basically anything that can absorb heat, such as rock or even let out piece of wool or cotton. That's how you find a snake looking under place that absorb heat. Another place you can find snake is down by a water source, where their food is that could be frog, crayfish or lizard. So, other place we can find snake are under log and rotten debris like trash. Here are some great tips to really increase your odds for finding more snake out there. The first one is according to the time of day. Early morning is a great time to find them because they are either getting ready for the hunt for the day or soaking up those first rays of sunlight and heat to get ready. If you want to find a snake in the wild, the best place to start, in my opinion, is by a body of water, because for most species, they take care of 2 important resources. One is obviously water, and 2, food. They can be relatively easy to find if you in an area with plenty of rocks or rotten logs that the snake like to hide under during the day. That's all for me. Thank you.
Reptiles play a crucial role in the UPMKB forest. Their diet, behavior, and ecological needs contribute to the overall balance of the ecosystem. Some reptiles, like snakes, are predators that feed on rodents and other small animals. By controlling the population of these prey species, they help maintain the balance of the food web in the forest. Other reptiles, like lizards, play an important role in the seed dispersal. They consume fruits and berries, and their excreta contain seeds that are dispersed throughout the forest as they move around. Turtles are also an important part of the ecosystem. They help maintain the health of the aquatic environment by feeding on algae and other aquatic plants.
So the first type of reptile is the lizard. So lizards are usually identified by having these 4 legs, which is to say that they are quadrupedal animals mostly. They can have very different lifestyles depending on the species. Some can be all-terrain vehicles, being able to run, climb, and swim, and some might even just be limited to being terrestrial. This particular specimen is a leopard gecko. a very commonly kept species of lizard in the exotic pet industry. And the way to handle most lizards, at least, is to not pinch them by the sides, because that will replicate being bitten by a predator. What should be done is they should be held on a flat surface so that they don't feel threatened, because they usually won't bite back on the ground that they are walking on. Now this is the second type of reptile we'll be talking about today. So this is a chelonian. Now chelonians is a general term that is used to refer to both turtles and tortoises. Now, turtles and tortoises are very unique compared to other reptiles because they have a protective hard casing that is part of their bone structure. So that is to say that this shell here is stuck to them. It's part of their skeleton. It's a bone. Now, these are also characterized by their usually sharp beaks that they use to strongly bite onto their prey or to bite into food. Just like the lizards, they can have a varying diet. They can be either completely carnivorous, completely herbivorous, or they can be a mix of both. Now this is actually an eastern painted turtle. Again, not a native species in Malaysia. But these are also a commonly kept species of turtle in the exotic pet trade. So this is the third type of reptile. This is the snake. Now the snake is infamous and characterized in the reptile world by having no legs. And there are no such things as herbivorous snakes. They are all carnivorous, which is to say that they eat other animals. Now when it comes to handling snakes, you don't want to grab them by the sides, because just like the lizards, if you grab them by the sides, it will simulate them getting bitten by a predator. Instead, you always want to hold them by the bottom. You want to support them from the bottom so that they feel safer and not as threatened. This particular specimen is the painted bronzeback, a local species that you can get here. And as you can see, they are very unique in the fact that when they are threatened, they will reveal these blue lines just between their scales to threaten any predator. This is the final type of reptile, which is of course the crocodilians. This specimen here is obviously the saltwater crocodile. Crocodilians are very easily characterized by their almost purely aquatic lifestyle, where they only really ever come up to land to either lay eggs or rest for a while or even eat sometimes. Crocodilians are also characterized by their generally large size, and especially the saltwater crocodile is the largest species of reptile in the world. Of course, with any common sense, you should know that you do not handle these things. Absolutely don't. Okay, now that we are done introducing you guys to reptiles, let's walk around the forests of UPMKB and have a look for what kinds of reptiles we can find here. Let's go.
Have a look at this. These are eggs of forest gecko. These show how most reptiles reproduce. They lay hard shells, eggs that are waterproof and can withstand being on dry land.
So as you guys can see here, forest geckos usually lays a single pair of eggs at a single time.
Oh my god! This is the king cobra. Now the king cobra is one of the most unique snakes in the world because what they eat is purely other snakes. As an adult, as you can see, this one is probably about a good maybe 3 meters or so. But as you can see, it's also being very gentle. It really just wants to get away. Because you can see that it's not turning around, it's not trying to bite me. And it is a most beautiful snake. As I can mention, like I said, this is a snake. And characteristic of snakes, they have no legs. They require strong belly muscles, strong core muscles to move around. Cobras are usually diurnal snakes. And this big boy or girl was probably just looking for a place to tuck up and sleep for the night. They are the only kind of snake that creates a nest and lays their eggs in them. They will guard their eggs territorially, just like any good mother would. Now, I don't think I need to mention that you should not try this at home. But anyway, I am currently holding her tail, so I think she's a little angry. So I'm going to release her nice and quickly. 3, 2, 1. There. And then she'll be free to go.
This is a sun skink, one of the most common lizards in campus. Skinks are easy to identify because of their long bodies and short legs. They are diurnal and love basking in the sun, just like many other reptiles.
Okay, this is the Sarawak bensword gecko, a gecko species only found in Borneo. This is another one of UPMKB's most common lizards. They can easily be found sleeping on leaves and tree bark. Just like the skink, this is diurnal animal, meaning that it is active during the day.
Okay, so this is the Brooks keeled skink, also known as Tropidophorus brookii. Now this is a very unique species of lizard here because it is one of the only semi-aquatic lizard species that you get here. So what that means is that it lives around water, it lives around rivers where we're currently at in this project. And these guys usually prey on small little insects, maybe tiny little baby frogs or tadpoles. But because they live near water, they have these keels and this long tail that allows them to swim powerfully in the water and help them catch fish. This is the brown rat snake, also known as Taius fusca, or its local name, Ular picus. So these guys, or this specimen is still a young one, so their coloration is this dark green, this beautiful dark green, that fades into a browner color.
Okay, so these snakes live near rivers and they eat rats, frogs, and lizards.
They have a big eyes to find their prey.
So this is non-venomous snake, but it has sharp teeth to bite its prey.
This is the Bornean angle-headed lizard. It is a species of Agamidae lizard that can only be found in Borneo. They are common, yet rarely seen because they live high up in the trees. They mostly eat insects as their diet.
So hey guys, so this is the Paradise flying snake. It is a species of snake in the flying snake genus. They have the ability to glide from the tree by making their body flat like pepper and moving in an S-like movement to escape predators or chase their main prey food like lizards.
This is a rarely seen snake, the Lois reed snake. Reed snakes are very small snakes that live on the surface of the forest floor or in the soil. Because of these two factors, the diet of a reed snake can be identified, which is a small invertebrates, particularly earthworms. They are only easily seen during or after rain, as these snakes like humid climates.
So this is one of the most common venomous snakes in Bintulu. This is the Bornean keeled pit viper, also known as the North Philippine temple pit viper. These guys have cytotoxic venom that isn't too lethal to humans, but they use it along with their really long fangs to bite into prey or predators. And what's special about vipers is that they have heat pits, which are just in between their little nostrils and their eyes. So those heat pits allow these snakes to have vision somewhat like a thermal camera, so they can detect the difference between warm-blooded prey and cold-blooded prey. Now this is a young female actually. She can grow just a bit bigger than this. And the way you can tell a female from a male of this species is that females will have this beautiful pattern on their bodies, and they're much bigger than their smaller male counterparts. Well, thanks for joining us on this wild adventure to find the reptiles of UPMKB, and we hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Now, king cobras are usually
Some ways to die.